The binding has been sewn almost all the way around the quilt, and I'm ready to join these two ends together. I lay these two ends flat, and then I want to make a mark where this one meets the other one. This mark will be seen in your binding, so you want to use a pen or pencil that's erasable, like this one. Let me make my mark. I know that this is going to be a 45-degree line, and I'll use my ruler to help me with that. So you notice here's my 45-degree line. I've got it lined up on the bottom here, and I'm ready to make that mark. I'll double check with this inside just to make sure that everything lines up the way it's supposed to. So let's get this nice and flat. There's my mark, and let me turn it over. You'll see that that mark is also correct on this side. I'm ready to add my 1/4 inch seam allowance to sew these two together. I can't add a 1/4 inch right here because there's no extra room. So a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch equals a 1/2 inch. So I'll need to add a 1/2 inch seam allowance to this strip. Let me show you how that works. I've opened this seam up, and a reminder, because I've done this a number of times, we're adding in this direction, not in this direction, which if you go this way, you're going to cut too much off. So you're going to add in that direction. And it's a 1/2 inch from this line. So I'll take my ruler. The 1/2 inch mark is right here. I've put that 1/2 inch mark over the top of that line, and I'm ready to draw my line. You could take this over to your rotary mat and use your rotary ruler to cut that off, but that's not necessary. I like to cut it with my scissors. I'm just going to double check that this 1/2 inch is going in that direction, and I'll cut that line. Now I'm ready to sew these two ends together. So this is the way they are, right sides, and when I sew I want to put right sides together. That means they have to go together like this. And I want to make sure that there is about a 1/4 inch from this little V here to the edge, and there should be a 1/4 inch from this edge to that little V. I do pin this because it has a tendency to move before I get over to the sewing machine. I've sewn my seam together, pressed open the seam, and clipped the little ears off here. I just used my scissors to clip that. So let me just cut this one. So now I'm ready to sew the rest of the binding to the quilt. I fold that over. I want this to lay flat and line that up with the edge. Sometimes I like to pin here just to make sure that it is lying flat, but it's not necessary. Now that my binding has been sewn to my quilt top, I'm ready to turn that binding and attach it to the back of my quilt. In the next video, I'll show you how to do this.